I said Valentine.
Yes.
DeVoe made an observation yesterday. He said the first 3 days of this week, all our analysts that came in were female. I didn't
Oh,
notice
yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah, so
true.
Eromosele, you've broken the streak.
Yeah, yeah.
You've
actually.
broken the
The
streak
first guy this week.
Exactly. All right. Nasty day on the exchange yesterday, 1.85% down. We've now fallen below 30,000 points. So the exchange is at 29,668 points. There were only 8 stocks gained in value. The banking sector down by 4.5%. I think GTB has fallen to what, 35 naira? I want it to fall to 30 naira before I jump in there. But so far this month, the market is down by 4.42%. So far this year, the market is down by 5.6%. It's not looking good out on the stock exchange, but hey, it is what it is. All right. Look, listeners, you please help us out to understand this thing, because I know they're going to talk about it on Freshly Pressed. We've been talking about effective spending on the part of the federal government. Eromosele, help me out here. The news that the Federal Executive Council has approved 5.5 billion naira to train. Now, the number of youth, there's been varying numbers. So this day was said it's 5.5 billion naira to train 12,000 youth. Premium Time said it's 5.5 billion to train 60,000 youth. The Cable said it's also 60,000. So, first of all, let's try and figure out the number here. What's happening?
So I mean, to arrive at that final figure,
yeah.
I think the plan is to train 12,000 people first.
Okay,
Then those 12,000 people train, I think five other people to.
So that's how we arrived at 60,000. Okay, so in effect, the 5.5 billion is for 12,000 people. I think technically that's where we're at. Yes. Okay. So. Okay, so it's 12. I don't know. Okay, so it's again, this is under the N-Power Social Investment Program, and they are calling this the N-Power Knowledge Multi-Track Youth Empowerment Program. It's about, I don't know, 190, 200 million people. Our youth population is about half of that, or maybe a little less. So the thing here is the cost, and I'm throwing this out to folks that are listening so you all can try and figure this thing out. This is what they're saying is going to cost. They said it is 259,000 for the program, and also an extra 207,000 quotes for each of the tools that are going to be needed. So I added it up. You get 259K for the program, 207K for tools. You add it up, it comes to 466K for each of these 12,000 people. You multiply it, you get 5.5 billion naira. So 466K, you use the exchange rate, that's about $1,200 to train them. Now, what are they training them for? According to what I'm reading here, they're saying that they're going to be trained to assemble, repair, and maintain electronic products, such as mobile phones. I don't know. 466,000 naira just to repair a mobile phone?
Visit Computer Village.
Is it to train them to repair or to assemble?
But there's a list here. So it says there's assemble, repair, and maintain electronic products. So look,
that's expert training.
Right, but
so they need experts to train them. They have to get paid.
Right, but
they need tools to work. That's 6 months, right?
9 months. It's for 9 months.
Exactly. So that's a stretch. That's just a little over $1,000. Would you pay that? Like, would it cost you that little amount to get that kind of training if you're going abroad?
You think it's so for assemble? I don't know. Valentine, this is a lot of money.
Relax. I know of a 2-week training conference on social media that my counterpart attended 2 weeks ago. And I think that was in Los Angeles. It cost her $1,800.
Yeah, but I mean, that's in Los Angeles now.
This is 9 months in Nigeria. So localizing the training, bringing in the experts, you have to factor in all that cost.
Let's scale this now. They're now saying that these 12,000, I don't know how they estimated it at 5. Why is it that if you train me, I'm only training 5 people? Why can't I train 10 or 15?
It goes on like that. It's a progressive thing.
But how did they arrive at that number of 5 people?
Pay for it. So train 5 people, let the 5 people train 10 more people, and just like that. Let's see.
And before you know it, all of us know how to fix mobile phones.
I don't know.
Okay.
But become self-reliant. Okay. Why are you being cynical?
I don't know if Valentine is being sarcastic or not.
If it was a private establishment when I set up this course, would you still have the same sentiment?
Thank you for asking that question. Okay. So isn't this something that should be pursued by the private sector? Because look, Valentine, 5.5 billion naira to just train 12,000 people out of how many what's the population of youth?
60% of our population are youth.
Exactly. And so that's in the millions. Right.
So
so if you multiply it now, if you're only using your 5.5 billion for 60,000, how much? That means you're going into the trillions.
Would you want to just give them the money?
I would rather this be carried out by the private sector. Again, I shouldn't be talking this much. Anyway, I don't know if this money is. Eromosele, where do you stand on this thing?
I mean, first of all, I think for me, it's what sort of analysis was done to determine that this sort of investment would have that kind
multiplier
of ripple
effect, right?
Because I think a lot of the time that's the one question we should be asking. So they come out, the government comes out with certain projects, say they're throwing money at this. What can we possibly gain from that going into the future?
Well, look, the thing is creating an enabling environment for other people to come and do this training. I think that how many I'm still sticking on this electronics thing. How many electronic companies do we have here? Anyway, let's move on. I mean, you guys will debate this thing on Freshly Pressed. I don't think it's wise money being spent. The IMF is out again. They've come out saying that Nigeria's economic growth is too slow to cut poverty. Amine Mati, the IMF's mission chief to Nigeria, said this in an interview that I think they released their Article 4 reports on Nigeria and a number of other African countries. They are still hammering on the exchange rates, even though I guess the exchange rate is sort of unifying at 365, but they're still saying that we need to unify exchange rates and that we're still not growing fast enough to cut poverty in the country.
I mean, essentially that's what it is, because if you look at per capita income, for instance, you have your GDP growing at 1.9%,
right?
But I think projection for this year is 1.9%, and you have population estimated at 3% annually. So essentially, people are worse off,
right?
And that's what they're continuing to point to. And for them, hammering on FX again, is the fact that we're still largely an import-dependent economy,
right?
One of the key things that we need to drive that sustainable growth and development is foreign flows to come back into the market,
right? And
one of the major things that is currently keeping them out is tied to FX. The multiplicity of FX rates that you have in the market just tend to sort of reduce confidence in management of FX, and that could be a key factor that's currently stopping all this inflow
from happening. Okay, I see the message is trickling in already. Valentine, shall we?
So Jerry says this empire spend of 5 billion naira for youth training in what? Theoretical way of starting hairdressing salons and the likes. Waste, he said. What is important is to implement policies that create jobs and improve the ease of doing business. What kind of thinking is this?
All right.
And Judge Benga Kamo says, well, I've been trying to do the math. How do you train 12,000 or 60,000 people with 5.5 billion naira? Are they sending them to Harvard? I mean, the Empire Youth? It is preposterous, he says. I've been trying to do the math on how to...
I sent yesterday. Yeah.
And of course, the IMF has supported an increase in VAT and claims structural and fiscal policies as an impediment to growth. What do you think?
I support VAT being increased. It's one of the... Everyone says, one of the lowest... VAT's 5.5%, yeah? It's one of the lowest.
Yeah, it's one of the lowest relative to. But I think you also have to look at the conditions in the economy. It's not enough to just say, oh, we're the lowest.
Yeah, we can isolate some parts.
Right,
exactly.
Okay, right.
Papi K says, next, Rotus, move to important items on the agenda. 15 minutes is going, Joe. Cheryl says, how to identify a shady government? They say they're training 60,000 people with how many billions? But you're training 12,000 people to train another 5 each.
And again, I ask, how did you arrive at 5?
So we have the 146 million as of January of 2018, 146 million mobile phone users in Nigeria. So,
I don't know how they came around 5. I mean, anyway.
Projections.
Okay.
Steven says, good morning, Rose. It's 5.5 billion Naira money. Is it not better
I pay taxes, so it's all our money.
He says, is it not better that for one person to embezzle it as long as...
they're using it for training purposes. All right, Steven, thanks for that.
Jumoke says, Nigeria can't be pleased if they do not empower We complain now. They want, okay, now that they want to do this, we're complaining that private sector should do it.
Well, okay, thank you for that, Miss. I think she's disagreeing with me. So she's saying, no, I mean, it's a good initiative. I just question the cost and I question the scale. The scale just seems too limited. It seems like it's a lot of money for just 12,000 people.
Divo said you should stop being dramatic about it. That is not too much.
It's not much.
460,000 naira for 8 to 9 months, and you scream murder. You keep talking about mobile phone repairs as if it's only the training. Just to support your narrative, our focus should be that the project is delivered.
Okay, so Deborah also thinks that it's a good initiative. Right. Okay.
And then we have more messages here. Yinka says the empire has always been a scam. He calls it. They pay these guys 30K a month, and I wonder if they are meant to sleep under the bridge or come for training or whatever they call it. Can they just stay off the empire things? Rotus, election is just finished. Money has to be recovered. He said.
And another thing, thank you for that, Yinka. Another thing is they're training them. Where are they going to place them for these jobs? That is another dynamic. I mean, it's good that they're trained, but then where are these youth now going to be placed? Because there's also Empower for education, Empower for a number of different sectors. So they're training them, which is good. But then where are these youth now going to be placed for these jobs?
The government has been paying attention to entrepreneurship, so I guess it's one of those drives.
Right.
Olatunji from Apapa says, good morning, guys. I think it's a good step in the right direction if it's well monitored and executed. Spreading the money from agriculture to other areas, good one, but it can be better.
All right, thank you for that.
And then Uzo says, Rotus keeps saying that we're one of the lowest paying in VAT. What about interest rates and the others that were the highest in?
Good point. And I accept that.
Shego says, increase VAT for Lekki and Ikoyi people and not for Musha and Ikoyi people.
But you know what? Actually, maybe he's joking or being sarcastic, but I actually have supported taxes being increased on the wealthiest Nigerians, right? Yes. But again, so that's
taxes tied to income.
Right, that kind of thing. But just increase it.
All right. Kemes says it should be a sort of contract or agreement. In return for getting the training, you must train 5 more people. Think of it as paying for, just like what you
Perfect. Said. But why 5? Can't it be 10 or 15
what do
or
you
20?
Have with the number?
The number seems small. It seems like a very small number. I don't know. Anyway, all right.
And then Inka says training by Empire. What is the job of ITF in the first place? And then Seke says they should look into taxing everyone rather than increasing taxes.
That's the informal sector. Yes. All right. Valentine, how much time we got? But
we have 1 minute left.
1 minute. Okay. Eromosele, very quickly in 1 minute. The ports. Okay, let's just join this together. Dangote Sugar's full year results, and then the story from Bloomberg about cashew nuts being trapped, about 50,000 tons. The ports keep coming up in both stories, yeah?
Exactly. First of all, the gridlock that they're currently having, the difficulties with getting product out has affected numbers for these companies. Also, for Dangote, specifically for Dangote Sugar, now importation of smuggled sugar as well has sort of affected prices, has affected prices and driven it downwards. I think it's currently estimated that about 40% of sugar in circulation was actually smuggled.
Wow.
Smuggled
so the borders again, yeah.
So we go to the borders, but going back to the ports, it's very important that whatever can be done to sort of ease the pressures in, especially in the Apapa ports, which currently accounts for over 90%
of imports coming in.
Yeah, that needs to be addressed because it's definitely a bottleneck for most of these companies.
So it's a tough situation. I actually wanted to spend a lot of time on the ports, but this Empower thing just shook my head, man. I had to figure it out. But it's all good. Thank you all for your messages. We always appreciate your messages. Eromosele, thanks for coming in this morning. Valentine, do you have a cold? Because your voice is...
I do.
Okay, well, so that's why you're wearing this. You guys need to see... I will on Instagram. You guys need to see Valentine's stylish, thick, expensive-looking cardigan. The government should look up this guy and try and find a way where he got this expensive looking sort of Valentine. I hope you feel better though. Sorry about the cold.
Yeah, I will. Thank you guys. Let us stay tuned. You're listening to Smooth 98.1. Coming up next, right after the conversation, nice conversation for 15 minutes next on real estate. We'll play some nice tunes until 7:30 for Freshly Pressed 981.